Hello everyone, welcome back to the C programming tutorials. These tutorials are brought to you by Zeedup technologies. In this video, we are going to continue with our topic of loops. In the previous video, just for a brush up, we learned that what is loop and what is the advantage of a loop. Then we came to know that there are three types of loops available in C, which is the for loop, the while loop and the do while loop. And also in the previous video, we learned all about the for loop. With the help of an example, we learned about its syntax, we learned about that how can we write a for loop, and we also saw its practical example. So the problem we took over there was to write the numbers from 1 to 10 like this. So this is the same problem which we are going to address in today's video as well. The difference being that instead of the for loop, we are going to use the while loop and then we are going to use the do while loop. Then I will tell you that what is the different approach that all these three loops follow, so that whenever a problem occurs, you can just go with the loop that you think is best for you, because the three of them perform the same task, that is of iterating the thing again and again or performing a task again and again. So performing a task again is what is called iteration or iterating in C or in any programming language. So let us start. First of all, we are going to take a look at the while loop. You can see over here I have written already the while loop. So the problem is same. We need to just print the numbers from 1 to 10. So for while loop, what we are going to do is, first of all, we are going to declare a variable. So this variable is going to be of integer type because we are trying to print integer output. So it is going to be of integer type. Suppose we have taken integer I, and initialize it with 1. Now put a semicolon. So this is the initialization part, which is mandatory in every loop, no matter which loop you are writing. In the for loop, this initialization part was carried out in the body or in the parenthesis section of the for loop, but in the while loop's parenthesis section, there is no place for initialization or updation. There is only place for the condition. Okay. So you need to write int I equals to 1, or whatever your variable is, you need to first initialize it before going into the while loop. Then the while loop begins by the keyword while. So this is a simple keyword while that you need to write, and your while loop will begin from here. Then again you need to pass the parentheses, and this will contain an important thing which we will come just a few minutes after. Then you can just press enter and use these curly braces, and these will be depicting the body of the while loop. Now whatever code that you need to write it inside these curly braces only, and then it would constitute the body of your while loop. Okay. Now within the parenthesis, what do you need to do is you need to provide your termination condition. Like in the for loop we provided with the termination condition, so here also we need to provide it with a termination condition, and the while loop will continue the execution of the statements until and unless that condition becomes false. So similarly, we are going to provide our condition, that is I is less than equals 10. Now you must be thinking that where do we provide with our updation statement, because these three things are mandatory no matter what loop you are writing. Okay. Then for that purpose, we have this body of the while loop. Here we are going to first of all write the printf statement, and we are going to print with a mod d placeholder the value of I like this. And then what we are going to do is we are going to increment the value of I by 1. So either you can use I equals I plus 1, or simply you can use the increment operator, that is I plus plus. So these are the two ways through which you can update the value of I. And why we have updated with 1? Because we want like 1, 2, 3 numbers like that. So this is how you can write a while loop. And I have already kept this loop started and loop finished print statements. So let us just see that what is its output by first building it. and then running it. So yes, this is the same output that we got with the for loop as well. So this is how we can write a while loop in C. So with this, two loops are covered. The third loop that we have is known as the do while loop. So as you must take out from the name itself, that it takes use of the while loop as well, but it is very different from the while loop. So let us just write the do while loop over here, and let's just clear up all this code. Okay, except this initialization statement, because in the do while loop also we need this initialization statement, as there is no scope of an initialization statement inside the body of the loop. So we need to provide it explicitly in the do while loop as well. Okay, so first of all, you need to initialize your variable with the starting value. In our case, it's 1. Then for the do while loop, you need to write the keyword do and then use these curly braces for its body. So do is where, or do keyword marks the beginning of the loop, and in this curly braces only the body of the loop resides. Now the while part of this loop is written over here like this, and within parenthesis the termination condition is expected along with a semicolon. So while loop is the endmost statement in the do while loop, which works for the part of the termination. Like you can just write what is our termination condition. So it's I is less than equals 10, and over here within the braces you can simply write a printf statement with mod d \n comma I, and the value of I as I equals I plus 1. So this is the do while loop that we have written. That's how it works. It's pretty simple, and let us just see that what happens when we run it. Okay, so first of all we need to build it. Once it's built, we can simply run it. So that's the same output that we are getting: loop started 1 to 10 and loop finished. So that is how we can use these 3 different types of loops. Now the question comes that which loop do we need to use and when? So the for loop is usually used when you are sure that how many number of times you need to iterate. Like in this example, from 1 to 10, we know that we need to print 10 numbers and we need to iterate the loop 10 times. So we are sure on that purpose. So in this kind of a problem, using for loop would be advised. But again, you can use any loop. The while loop is used when you do not know that how many times you want to go with the loop, but you are sure about the termination condition. You know that when that condition stands false, then you need to stop the execution of the loop. So in that case, the while loop must be used. The do while loop, however, is a little problematic loop. The reason being, if you look at its syntax, what happens is, it says that first of all this printf statement will occur, the value of I will be updated, and then only its condition will be checked. So suppose if we just make a very small change over here, and what do is just initialize the value of I with 10. Then what happens? We just can build it again and we can run it. So we are getting 10 as the answer. That's correct, because I must be less than and equals to 10. But what if we just write 11 over here? Then we just build it according to this loop that we have written. We do not want 11 to be printed. We only want numbers from 1 to 10. But since we have initialized the value of I with 11, then what happens is 11 is printed actually. So this is the limitation of the do while loop, that no matter whether what is the termination condition, whatever value you have initialized your variable with, it will be printed or it will be executed for that particular value. So this is a limitation of the do while loop, because it first prints it or executes the statement, and then afterwards it checks those conditions. So this is the reason why the use of the do while loop is usually discouraged, whatever problem you are looking to solve, you must solve it with either the for loop or the while loop. But since there are 3 loops in C, so you must need to know that what are their functions and how can they execute themselves. So this is all in today's video. I hope you all have enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.